A lot of 117 English settlers settled on Roanoke Island in the summer of the year 1587 under the leadership of John White. England's second try at settling a colony in the New World, and expectations were high. That population included men, women, and children, among whom was White's daughter Eleanor Dare and his granddaughter Virginia Dare, the firstborn English child in the Americas. The early settlers in the area were subjected to various challenges. The territory was unknown, the climate resentful, and Anglo-Indian relations were hostile. While some of the tribes, such as the CROATOAN, was friendly with the settlers, other tribes looked at the settlers as enemies. Food was scarce, and it was apparent the colony could not survive on its own, and that supplies or provisions had to be brought from England. Captain Governor White, fully aware of the dangers of proceeding on the voyage, reluctantly moved away from the company, his family, and the settlers to return to England for more supplies. Before he left, he told them to burn a message in case they chose to go out of the settlement. In case they were in harm's way, they would add to the message a cross carved alongside it. White said he would come back soon. However, the war between England and Spain prevented him from doing that. He could not find ship to transport him back to Roanoke for 3 years, for no seaman felt he could survive the term skin-for-year could hold out. Thus, when White could return in August 1590, the settlement is already a ghost town. He went on to testify that the houses had been pulled down and nothing had happened to the houses through force or fight. The only indication that people had ever been there was the word CROATOAN hewed into a post and the letters CRO chipped into a tree. There was no cross, which means that people left of their own free will, or at least this was the case with settlers. Settler Missouri Color White, who deciphered carving which reads CROATOAN, they migrated to Croatoan Island, that is today called Hatteras Island, but owing to storms and wrecked ships, he could not further look for them. White became depressed and got back to England. He never gets to know what happened to his family or the settlers. Many histories and archaeologists trying to imagine a picture of what had happened to the settlers for centuries. The most popular theory is that the disappears unveil that the settlers fled to Croatoan tribe, a friendly tribe. In the decades that followed, other Native American survivals reported seeing individuals of white Caucasian appearance and conversant in English, which indicates that some of the early settlers must have taken Native American wives and adopted their common ways. Some think that the settlers were killed by savages or died from hunger and illnesses in the unfriendly climate of the New World. The fact that the settlement has been dismantled implies that they moved out in the search of food or other security. Over the years, myth again and again was spun that the settlers were evils, witchcraft was the cause, or some invisible force of the wilderness. The word CROATOAN has thus attracted many mysteries by being carved somewhere else during other mysterious incidents in the future. Over the years, archaeologists have found even English pottery and tools on Hatteras Island and the mainland suggesting patterns of movements of the settlers. However, these findings are still preliminary. Roanoke remains a secret, one of the great puzzles of the world to this very day. It stands for the pioneer spirit of immigrants when they moved to a new world and the smallness of the human endeavor against the harshness of the world. The word CROATOAN, which was engraved on the post, remains one of the questions left behind to remind the audience of the colony's disappearances. Was the message hope, a promise of safety to find shelter, or was this message a warning of the approaching grim fate? Roanoke is still remembered as one of the greatest examples of how exploration unknowns work. It is a story of dreams, of beating against the odds, and of going out into the great expanse with questions that still cause us to wonder hundreds of years on.